Bristol Community College, Mathematics with Dan Avedikian, Math 119, Fundamental Statistics, Section 3.2, Problem 4. This is Section 3.2, Problem number 4. It says, the following is a sample of 5 automotive repairs at a small car dealership on Route 6 in Westport. $580, $740, $630, $660, and $600. Find the range, find the variance, and find the standard deviation. So the range is the biggest data value minus the smallest data value. So if you look through the data values, there's only one that went up over 700, so it's the biggest one, 740, minus the smallest one. There was only one in the 500s, it's the 580. And the range is 740 minus 580, which would be 160. So the range is 160. Find the variance. So the variance, you have to use the 4-step process to find the variance. Step 1, find the mean, label it x bar. So, see if I can fit the mean right in here. X bar equals, we will add 740. Oops, I forgot the 580. That's okay. We don't have to write them in order. 580 plus 630 plus 660 plus 600. And we'll divide that by 5 because I have 5 data values. So x bar equals, now those numbers are fairly big. So to get the total, I'm going to use my calculator. So do 740 plus 580 plus 630 plus 660 plus 600 equals, the total is 3,210. I'm going to divide that by 5 while it's on the screen right now. Just leave it on the screen and say divide by 5 equals, and I get 642. So the average repair cost, or the x bar, was 642. That's step 1. Find the mean, label it x bar. We have that. Step 2, fill in the chart. So for the chart, we will have 3 columns. The first column is x. The middle column is x minus x bar. And the last column will be x minus x bar in parentheses raised to the second power. So the x column gets the data value that's given in the question. So my values of x are 580, 740, 630, 660, and 600. Those are the different values of x they're given right in the question. And then for x minus x bar, I will subtract the x bar, the 642, away from every value I have from x. So in the top row, I will have x, which is 580, minus x bar, which is 642. So I'll do that on the calculator just to make sure I get it right. So 580 minus 642 is negative 62. So now the next row down, x is 740, so x minus x bar will be 740 minus 642. I can see that's 98. 740 minus 640 would be 100 even, and you're 2 away from that 100, it's 98. And then the middle row, x is 630, so x minus x bar is 630 minus 642, and that would be negative 12. That one I can see easy enough. The next row, x is 660, so 660 minus x bar, so minus 642. And I can see that one's 18. And finally in the bottom row, x is 600, so x minus x bar will be 600 minus 642, and that would be negative 42. So this is the point where I like to get a total of the middle column just as a check, and it should total up to 0. If it does, it's a good sign. If it doesn't total to 0, your middle column, you've made a mistake somewhere. So let's see if I can do it without my calculator. I have two positive values, 98 and 18. That's 116 positive. Negative 62, negative 12, negative 42. Well, the negative 62, 42, I can see is 104. And that's negative 116. I better check it. 98 plus 18. It's 116 positive. And then the negatives, negative 62, negative 12, negative 42 is the same, negative 116. So it does total to 0, which is a good sign. So now, the last column, what we will do is take our answers for x minus x bar and raise each one to the second power. Again, calculator will be handy. In the top row, x minus x bar, we had an answer of negative 62. So I'll do negative 62 second power, which means negative 62 times negative 62, which is something that would be pretty tough to do without a calculator. It comes out to 3,844. Notice it's positive 3,844. The second power will cancel the negative. The next one, 98, is the answer for x minus x bar. So I'll do 98 second power, 98 times 98. Which is pretty big too, so the calculator will do that for me. It's 9,604. And then the next one, negative 12 to the second power. Negative 12 times negative 12 is positive 144. That one I can do without the calculator. The next row, x minus x bar, is 18, so I'll do 18 second power. 18 times 18, I think, is 324, but that's one I should check. It is. And finally, the bottom row, x minus x bar, came out to negative 42. So I'll do negative 42 second power, which means negative 42 times negative 42. And that comes out to positive 1,764. So step 2 is fill out the chart. We filled out the chart. Step 3 is get a total of the last column. So I could do without the calculator, but it's so much easier with the calculator. 3,844 from the top row plus 9,604 for the next row plus 144 for the middle row plus 324 under that, and finally plus 1,764 from the bottom row gives me a total for step 3 of 15,680. So that's the total of the last column. That's step 3. Step 4 is take the total from step 3 and divide by n minus 1 if you have a sample, or n if you have a population. This particular problem is a sample. It says a sample of. So we're going to take our total from step 3, the 15,680, divide by n minus 1. N is how many data values are given in the problem. This particular problem, if you count them, you have 5 data values. So n minus 1 will be 5 minus 1. So I'm going to divide 15,680 divided by 4, which the calculator will do for me. And I get 3,920. Now again, that's the variance, 3,920. And the symbol for that, if you want to use the proper symbol, is s to the second power s squared. Now for the standard deviation, it's the square root of the variance. So my standard deviation would be the square root of 3,920, which is very tough to do without a calculator. The calculator will do it right away for me. The calculator says 62 point, within sensible round off, 61. Again, the symbol for standard deviation is S. So the answer for part C, S, the standard deviation, equals 62.61.